You're up 14-0 right off the start. Did they do anything differently?
No, they really didn't. No, they didn't. And no, they did a dip. They played in a fashion that that we take a lot of pride in. If anything, they ran a little bit less stuff than they've been running, and I thought they executed incredibly well. Both sides of the ball, they're very simple, and it was a funny game. That first half was funny. You talk about, well, you know, you're up 14-0. Well, and it was funny for both sides. I mean, you know, we march down and score, and then of course Darcel picks it, and that gives us another 7. But we hadn't really been stopping him, slowing him down some, but hadn't really been stopping him. And then well, it was a strange game on both teams' part. It was a series of overcorrections. I thought I had both teams were trying to accomplish the same thing. You know, both teams came in with relatively simple game plans. Both teams set out to do very basic things. And I know that, and we've already covered this in the previous press conference, a lot of times the media thinks that football's a series of tricks. You know, what happened to Vince Lombardi and execution, all that? It's execution more than it's a series of tricks. And so both sides, I thought, had very simple game plans. And you know, at key times, Mississippi did a better job doing their job than we did. At key times, Mississippi, yeah, you know, responded. I mean, there were pressure deals back and forth, and you know, this happened, that happened, and I thought they really did a good job responding. I mean, and this is an incredibly high compliment to them, and it always gets follow-up questions because it just doesn't keep you guys riveted to your seats quite the way you'd like. But what they did a great job is just doing their job, doing it over and over and over, play after play after play. Oh, this happened. Well, now I got to do something else. No. And then they did their job, and we did that. We did that some, but I felt like in our case we had a series of overcorrections. You know, it's like offense would get to roll, and then defense would overreact this way. Defense would stop them, then offense would go out there and frantically try to make too much happen. I thought in our case it was a bunch of overcorrections. They had some, and darn sure could have. They had a touchdown. They threw right into double coverage, and some of them got if the guy didn't catch it. Now, when they stop that film, I don't think they're going to encourage him to do that over and over and do it game after game and play after play. But you know, it worked out good that time, and you know, and I think that both sides did that. But I think they did a better job than we did staying composed at the key times of the game as momentum shifted.
We've got a question on the back rear, and then we'll come back up here.
Ryan Mosley, 103.3 FM ESPN. Coach, did you expect for their back end, their secondary, to match up with your receivers as well as they did today?
Well, I mean, they did and they didn't, I guess. I think they did a lot of good things. You know, I think that I had a lot of respect for them. You know, you know, you're talking about a team that beat Florida at Florida and lost to Alabama. I kept saying 2, but it turns out it's 4, and at Alabama. Well, I mean, they're an incredibly good football team, and it's one of those things that you have to slice it pretty precisely in order to beat them. And I know that we had a lot of success this year in the refs. And yeah, you know, if I had a nickel for every time somebody told me how easy it was going to be to beat Mississippi, I never bought into that, and I really don't think our players did. But when you're playing somebody as good as they are, yeah, and they get you that day, you just gotta congratulate them. I mean, there's all kinds of things I wish we'd have done sharper, just simple things. Do your job, you know. Step with this foot, not that foot. Put this hand there, not there. You know, that type of stuff. And that's what it came down to. And just the simple, basic elements. I thought they did a very good job
on the aisle.
Mike Wendell, Barnhouse, BigTree.com. Graham's 4th and 4 quarterback sneak. Can you take us through that call? And also, I don't know how much you paid to your defensive side, but it seemed like you guys had a lot of missed tackles. Is that the way you saw it?
No, that's the ultimate doing your job. I mean, the most important thing you do on defense is tackle. The most important thing you do on offense is block. There ain't nothing different about all that. the 4th and 4 call, we weren't on the same page. You know, he thought I wanted one thing, and I thought I wanted another, and so miscommunication.
What did you want? It's obviously what did you want?
Well, I'm going to leave that one for the ages. It's not one where either of us are proud of, I guarantee you.
Question on the front left.
Adam Coleman, the Daily Tour, doing. Could you talk about Dexter McCluster and compare him to some of the players that you've seen in the Big 12 this year?
Really impressive. Reminds me of that running back at Oklahoma State, who I think is really good. They kind of look the same, operate the same. You know, they have, besides being real fast, they have some side to side and burst out of their cuts good. I've always thought coming out of your cuts is more important than real speed. I mean, Wes Welker's making a lot of money proving that to people every day, that coming out of your cuts is more important than speed, because he'd be out of business if it was about speed. But that guy did both. I thought he was very impressive. He was better than I thought he'd be.
Got a question on the front, and then we'll move back to the middle.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo, Mississippi. Coach, can you talk about the pressure that they got, the times they got in the backfield? Even if they didn't make the sack, did they disrupt the flow?
You know what I thought on that, and that kind of goes back to my doing your job thing too. What I thought on that was, because, you know, there were times where we protected real well and flat out stoned them, you know. And then, but the thing was, you know, there'd be some key time, some key moment where, you know, Mississippi had to make something happen or needed a break, and then they'd find a way and they'd get there, you know. And and then somebody break down, or some guy go through my bad this, or, you know, that crap, you know. And then just play together consistently. There's going to be pressure in the game, and then play together consistently at those times. But the thing is just like you mentioned, you know, if you're as good and decorated as Mississippi's D-line, they're going to give you some problems, you know.
If we've got questions for the student athletes, we really appreciate you asking them so that they can go on down and get a shower and stuff. But we'll take our next question in the middle.
Mike, Jim Reeves of the Star-Telegram in Fort Worth. Back on that 4th and 4 play, I'm right over here. Back on that 4th and 4 play, what was the thinking you're thinking about going for it at that point?
Well, we weren't going to go for it. We were hoping to draw him off sides. I didn't do a good job communicating it. He thought something different, and off we went. And it was a very bonehead play. I mean, if I want a different result, I have to communicate it better.
Question on the aisle.
Coach Leach, Jennifer Engel from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. I know you guys have great respect for the Cotton Bowl, but do you think disappointment at all played a role for your players? I mean, this is a one-loss team that wasn't in the BCS.
You know, I don't know. If you asked me before the game, I would say definitely no, and I still lean toward definitely no. You know, but by the same token, there's a lot of rhetoric on that, and I don't know if somehow we're successfully brainwashed that direction. You know, I don't know why you would be. You know, I don't know why you would be. They always make a production out of that. I don't think so. I mean, heck, it's the Cotton Bowl. You know, I mean, this was a full stadium. You know, this was Ole Miss. It has some great players. I mean, there's a whole bunch of you know, they got a bunch of players over there that you can recite their high school pedigree off the top of your head. And the thing is you know, if we were that way, then we need to do a better job coaching, because that would mean we didn't reach them as coaches. Because, you know, I mean, if you can't get excited about playing Ole Miss in the Cotton Bowl, you can't. I mean, you know, you shouldn't play football. You should do something else. Something, I would assume, drop off a plane without a parachute. Extreme skiing, maybe one. You know, I mean, how the hell can you not get excited about playing these jokers? You know, and but you know, I don't read articles. I very, very, very seldom read articles. oh, did you hear so-and-so said this? Did you hear so-and-so said that? So I get a feeling of where they're headed and where they're coming and how, and, you know, a whole bunch of rhetoric about that. I don't know, did we respond to some level of self-fulfilling prophecy? I hope not, because, but in this day and age with way too much information instead of too little, maybe not, but as I go through my post-mortem on how to improve and preparing for a bowl, that'll certainly be an issue.